I would like to talk about something that is easily overlooked when it comes to watershed management, and that is the fact that a disturbance in a watershed affects not only that watershed, but also the areas downstream of that watershed. And that many people only think about the effects on the watershed itself, and don't think about the impacts that could be felt downstream of the disturbance. And here in West Virginia, we have a lot of timber harvesting, coal mining, and drilling for natural gas. And all of these things can potentially impact watersheds and areas downstream from the initial disturbance. I'm going to use this whiteboard to show how a timber harvest can affect areas downstream. Alright, here's our watershed. And this is where the timber harvest is going to be. Now let's say around 60% of the watershed is harvested. Now this will greatly decrease the rate of interception, and the rate of interception is simply just the amount of precipitation that does not reach the soil. And now it makes sense that since this interception capacity has decreased, that the stream flow will increase, and that can be felt all down through here, and not simply in the watershed itself. And that doesn't necessarily have to be a timber harvest that's affecting the water downstream. It could also be like a coal mine, for example. Now we could have this same drawing, and here's our watershed, and we could have a coal mining operation going on in here, which could release acid mine drainage into the stream. And that acid mine drainage is not only going to affect the water quality in here, but it's also going to affect the water quality all down through here as well. So that's something that should always be taken into consideration when we're talking about disturbances in watersheds. I mean, this is not something that can only be felt in the watershed itself. I mean, it's going to be all downstream from that as well. And that's something that not everyone takes into consideration. Not everyone realizes that all actions have consequences, whether they be minor or major.